Hi everyone, and on today's video, we're going to be diving into accordion keys, specifically for those of y'all who are singers, so stick around. Hi everyone, this is Aaron from Alamo Music. Visit us online at alamomusic.com, and on today's video, we're going to be talking about choosing a diatonic accordion based on your vocals or based on a singer. So what does that mean? Well, diatonic accordions really come in a variety of what we call keys or tones. Specifically, all that means is that they are tuned, the notes are tuned in such a way where it's easier to play certain keys. So for example, C major, G major, even some minors, D minor, A minor, things like that in an easy fashion. But I know sometimes it can be a little confusing on which accordion do I really want or need. Which key do I need that matches my voice? And this is where we start getting a little bit deeper into, figuring out, all right, what is really appropriate for your scenario or your use case. I will start off by saying it is possible to play in every key on the right-hand side on any diatonic accordion. You may find it's harder to play in some keys than others, but ultimately you can play in any key on the right-hand side. For those of y'all who do a lot of self-accompaniment and or want to play like with the band or the singer's playing a certain key and you want to use the left-hand side of your accordion, this is where things can get a little tricky. So for example, on a GCF accordion, G major, C major, F major, those are all of the major tonalities that you have available, in addition to a couple others like A major and B flat major. Outside of that, you really don't have any other, what I would call, pairings to play in other keys. So if you have a singer who sings in A flat, for example, you're not going to have those notes or those bass chord pairings on the left-hand side of a GCF accordion. You may need to go to something such as a F, B flat, E flat accordion where you would have that A flat. Or another one is like singing the key of E major, right? E major on a GCF accordion, you don't have those pairings to play your left-hand side in E major. So this is where, like I said, things get a little tricky. So how do you determine which accordion is correct for, the singer or whoever band you're playing with? This may not be such a big factor for a lot of players who play, for example, norteño or Tex-Mex music. The left-hand side is almost non-existent. And at that too, I do see a lot of players who will just have a bunch of different boxes and play whatever keys. That's kind of the point of this video. But where you'll see a lot of possible, issues when it comes to like, okay, which box do I need, is for those players who play more of a maybe German style, maybe more of a waltz style, who sing and want to play and sing at the same time. Or the biggest one that I see, and you'll see I have the two accordions here, but the biggest one that I see are a lot of vallenato players or cumbia colombiana players, where you're singing in a key, but you don't have the bass side available, where in that genre of music, the left-hand side of the accordion is played very heavily. So let's just kind of talk about it, lay it out which box would make sense. So if you're playing in major tonalities, GCF, you're going to have all those keys, G, C, and F. So if your singer is in GCF, you're good. On the other side of that, especially those who play, like I said, cumbia colombiana, you're playing in a lot of minors. So you will have on your GCF accordion, D minor and A minor readily available. And those are pretty much all the minors you have. If you have another singer who's singing like in the key of C minor, for example, you're not going to have that C minor on your left-hand side on a GCF accordion. You may need to go to something like an F, B flat, E flat accordion. Same thing if you have a singer who sings in F minor. GCF or F, B flat, E flat are not going to work. You're going to have to get something like a B flat, E flat, A flat accordion. So on a B flat, E flat, A flat, you have an F minor readily available. So things like that are very important when it comes to choosing your accordions. So, and the same is true for both the Corona 2 and the Corona 3 models. The thing that is important to know is that they are all the same note layouts. The only difference is sonically, on a Corona 3 it has more of that wet sound. On a Corona 2, it's not as wet, it has a little bit more of a drier sound, but it's still, in the happy medium. But layout-wise, it's still the same thing. So how does this really compare with the left-hand side? So the way you can think about it is on a Corona or just standard Corona layout, you have your, for example, this is GCF, your G row, your C row, and your F row. On the left-hand side, you'd have your G, your C, and your F tonalities lined up. And that's going in. So like I said, G's going in, your G on the first two are going in. As you go to the middle row, you have your C, your middle row accompaniment. As you go to the inside row, you have your inside row accompaniment. And that's how it's really laid out. And another thing too that I can talk about a little bit in depth, this is for those of y'all who understand music. The way this works is the rows go in fourths. So for example, if I'm in G, my 4 would be a C, so that's why it's C. If I'm in the key of C, my 4 is going to be F, so that's why I have F as I move in. So that's just the layout of your typical diatonic accordion. Same way, if I'm going outwards, I'm going into the 5. So if I'm in F, my 5 is a C as I move to the middle row. If I'm in C, my 5 is a G, which is the G row going out. Same thing is happening here. For your first pair of buttons, you have your G. As I move to the next pair, I have my 4, which is a C. Same thing, if I move again, I have my 4, which is an F. Is that just going in? Going out, though, you have the 5. So if I'm going in on these two pairs, I have a G. If I'm going out, my 5 is D, D major. Same thing here. If I'm going in on here, this is a C. If I'm going out, it's going to be my 5, which is G. And then same thing on the Fs, going out on these two buttons would be your C, which is 5. So that's pretty much how like the basic layout of, you know, the bass side to the inside or the right side. We can get a lot more technical from here, but I think we'll save that for another video because this can get really, really deep in terms of music theory. But overall, the whole point of this video is figuring out what accordion it is you'd want to choose. So first, I would say if you're accompanying a certain band or vocalist, ask them what keys do you sing in. That will give you a good indication of, you know, what accordion boxes you're going to need. The second thing would be figuring out your style that you're going to play with them. If you're playing with a group and you really don't need to do a lot of left-hand work, you can probably get away with just a GCF box. Like I said, you can play in any key on GCF or any of these boxes. If your music is going to require you to play the left hand a little bit more, then I would probably say at that point you're going to need multiple boxes depending on the needs of the singer. If the singer sings in the key of G and then they want to sing in A flat and have the left hand accompaniment, you're going to need 2 boxes for that one. So just keep that in mind. The only real way to alleviate that is if you switch to a chromatic accordion, but that's going on a whole different topic. So I hope this brings some insight a little bit more in terms of choosing the key of accordion. Obviously, this video was intended for those who probably have a little bit more music background, a little bit more music knowledge, and or have been playing accordion for a little bit longer. But overall, I just want to encourage y'all to really explore the different options you have with accordions. And if you ever have any questions or are interested in purchasing a new accordion, maybe in a different key than you have, definitely visit us online at alamomusic.com, send us an email, call the store, and we'll be able to help you out. So once again, I'm Aaron from Alamo Music. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.